Hey man, stay safe world, you already know what's going on. Unfortunately, we got some tragic news coming out of the Florida state capital of Tallahassee, where rising Florida artist who was formerly signed to Kodak Black NFL TUEWOP was unfortunately gunned down in a crazy attack, man. He unfortunately lost his life in the situation, and investigators are currently trying to piece together what happened. We gotta get into it now, in the beef that could have taken out NFL TUEWOP right now, but before we do, man, I'm gonna need you to like, comment, subscribe. We're gonna run on this video, man. Make sure y'all check out the merch link in the description at staysafeworld.com. You already know what's going on, man. A shooting outside a hotel in central Tallahassee has left a man dead and police investigating. At about 10:30 p.m. Friday, a man was found shot to death inside a car outside the Motel 6 downtown, located at 1027 Patchy Parkway. Residents in the vicinity of the shooting reported hearing multiple gunshots. Despite life-saving efforts, the victim succumbed to his injuries, a police spokesperson wrote in an incident alert. It's honestly a crazy situation if you think about it, because NFL TUEWOP was basically starting to make a breakthrough in the mainstream Florida scene, just as he was taken out. However, one of the beefs that he was a part of might honestly be more infamous than his music. We're not saying necessarily this is what took him out, but this situation definitely put a major target on his back and pretty much made him a household name in the Florida rap scene. So we got to get into the infamous live that could have resulted in him getting taken out, man. One of the craziest things that NFL TUEWOP was known for was his beef with Boston Richie, and essentially being the first person to expose Boston Richie for snitching and leaked paperwork. At the time of this occurrence, I really felt like bro was putting a target on his back for real, regardless if the accusations were true or not, because Boston Richie was really getting to that bag at that point.
Jalen Buster Foster, that's Mr. Boston Richie, ain't it?
Hassan made this.
Yeah. Oh, that's crazy, man. That's crazy, dude. Then it had audacity to text my phone and say, show me what paperwork I'm in. Then they had audacity to say, show me what paperwork I'm in. Oh my God. No, you didn't say that, boy. No, you did not say show you what paperwork you in, boy. When I got work, it's 5 pages. What you talking about? These people funny. I've been telling y'all, man, niggas is cappers, fraudsters, this going, yeah. The fault they win the game with all that flag and that. What? Nobody. You putting them in jail for doing the shoes. Ain't nobody died for this, man. You niggas putting in jail doing it. Man, you niggas ain't no shit.
Back around a year ago, in December 2022, Boston Richie was at the peak of his career. Pretty much after getting signed to Future's free band label, he had made major waves. He had a viral song that made its way across the internet, and it seemed like everything was going well for the Tallahassee native. But just as things were looking up, accusations came out and pretty much changed his career overnight. You know, before the numerous 1090 Jake videos claiming Boston Richie was a snitch, before him getting kicked off of Future's tour and getting disowned by the creator of his label, it was apparently NFL TUEWOP who dropped these bombshell allegations in a now infamous Instagram live. 3 minutes of him just posted up on live with paperwork that read that Jalen Foster, aka witness number 3 in an incident, gave information to the police that resulted in someone else getting arrested and charged with murder. In this crazy IG live, somehow NFL TUEWOP was able to get paperwork from a case in 2016 that implicated Boston Richie. According to the paperwork, witness number 3, aka Jalen Foster, who NFL TUEWOP said was Boston Richie's real name, gave a cooperating statement to the police after he was arrested for loitering. He somehow continued giving a statement to police about a different altercation where he identified someone who was threatening him to police officers. At that point, he looked at a picture of someone and identified the man as Wig, aka DeAndre Wiggins. In the interview, witness number 3, aka Boston Richie, was given a photograph of Wiggins and confirmed that this was the man who had threatened them. He then apparently gave additional information about a homicide that said that this incident had nothing to do with him, and that the homicide that occurred in that area was just something that had happened, even though that same homicide occurred at an address that was registered in his name. In that infamous live, NFL TUEWOP basically went to detail and was able to prove that witness number 3 was none other than Boston Richie, and also said that Boston Richie wasn't even from Tallahassee as he was claiming, but was apparently from Orlando. Apparently, shortly before this incident, in June 4th, 2016, Boston Richie's cousin was gunned down outside of their house in Tallahassee, and a witness gave a description of DeAndre Wiggins, who was later arrested for the murder. Apparently, at some point before this incident of DeAndre Wiggins getting arrested, Boston Richie gave another statement where he claimed that DeAndre Wiggins had previously pulled up to his house and basically pressed him for being in a rival gang. So to sum it up, essentially, Boston Richie was exposed by NFL TUEWOP for being the witness that not only for no reason being arrested for another incident gave information about this guy, but essentially said that this guy had previously pulled up onto them and threatened them, while at the same time saying that the murder that had occurred had nothing to do with him, even though it was at his house. All this information eventually led to DeAndre Wiggins getting arrested and charged for this murder. It's not clear what NFL TUEWOP's whole relationship with DeAndre Wiggins essentially was, but regardless of the case, he basically came out and tried to stand on the business of the streets and said that Boston Richie was a fraud, was a snitch, and all types of things. Fast forward a couple months later, 1090 Jake gets involved, essentially drops a tell-all video on Boston Richie saying that he lied, saying that he was a snitch, and then he dropped a bombshell essentially of a 30-minute video of Boston Richie's interrogation that basically was pretty damning and showed him snitching in 4K, which honestly is one of the craziest things that the internet has ever seen in this whole snitch rap movement, man. But now, pretty much Boston Richie, he's still going and his career's not totally dead, but the whole type of clout and movement that he had at the beginning of his career, where he was essentially taking the whole rap industry by storm with features from Future and everyone else, pretty much went in the dumpster and was never able to get that type of buzz back. I mean, sure, he still has buzz, but it definitely took a major nosedive in his career, because this wasn't someone that had been lit for 5-10 years. This wasn't even someone that had been lit for a year. He essentially was lit for a month and basically got taken down in his career, and pretty much no one listened to him for a long period of time. Since then, he was able to gain back a little bit of buzz, and his last project apparently did pretty well. But people in Florida still listen to it, and it doesn't really seem like the fans really care that much about the snitching, but it seems like the people that are really in the streets, quote unquote, are the ones that really felt the biggest type of way about this situation, you know? Apparently people in his hood knew about this incident and didn't feel any type of way towards Boston Richie because he was getting to this bag. But, apparently NFL TUEWOP definitely did. And it's just a crazy situation, because bro basically blew up almost a year ago from this incident, and he had a pretty, promising career. NFL TUEWOP has songs with Kodak that were pretty lit. Personally, I was listening to his music a lot, so it's kind of sad seeing that he just died in this way, and it's really unfortunate. But we're not really saying that this necessarily had something to do with the incident, because as you could tell, he was crashing out on IG Live like that. He was pretty deep in the streets and pretty much at a point where he didn't really care about what people thought about him and was pretty much going to act regardless. And it's not like the rap music in Florida is really making that much money, apparently. A lot of the ways that these people make money is through trapping and scamming and other types of situations. And it's unfortunate because with Kodak Black's artists, this is the third one to have something crazy happen to them. From, Wiz the Wizard, who was basically hit up, to Psycho Bob, whose mom was basically hit up, and now we have him, a former artist that was basically hit up. Florida is definitely a war, and it's a war zone, and it's going to continue to be like this if people keep beefing. At the end of the day, there has to be some common goal that people make to try to make the Florida rap scene better, and hopefully don't end up getting people crashed out. But at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised if that will never happen, because it seems like every single city in Florida, from Jacksonville to Tallahassee to Miami to Broward County, it seems like there's always a high risk of violence, especially because there's guns pretty much everywhere in Florida, and these artists have something to prove. Especially now with social media, people think that they have something to prove and they end up going out the worst way, man. But let me know in the comments what y'all think about this whole scenario. Do you think that this has something to do with the NFL TUEWOP Boston Richie beef? Do you think that this is something completely separate? What was your favorite NFL TUEWOP song? Do you feel like that this was a surprise, or do you think that this is something that probably would have happened on the path that he was going on, man? Let me know in the comments what y'all think. Real Stay Say shit. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, man. I'm gonna need y'all to tap in. We just hit 10K, so we on the road to 100K now, and tap in with that merch, man. You already know what's going on. Peace.